you know it's going to be a good day when the first image of the day is one of a subject that Ansel Adams photographed a long time ago. This photograph has always fascinated me. There's just something about it. But having that picture in mind didn't help me. It actually did the opposite. It limited my imagination. All the shots I got there followed the same idea of what Ansel Adams had done there. And the worst part is that I didn't realize it until it was too late. Already back at home, staring at my computer, feeling like I didn't work this location as I usually do, and as it deserves. For sure, I'll have to go back and try again. That church was just a little nice stop on the way. The real destination for today, the place I'm hoping to photograph today in these beautiful conditions, is this, Bodega Bay. Did you know that Alfred Hitchcock filmed The Birds right here in Bodega Bay? Somehow this place has drawn people like Adams and Hitchcock, but not me. I guess it's because it's what I call an in-between location, not close enough for a casual day out and not far enough to be part of a longer road trip. All of this changed though when I saw something in the forecast that made me grab my camera and hit the road. This was supposed to be a relaxed Saturday at home, doing some reading, working on my images and videos. But last night, as I was getting in bed, I pulled out my phone and checked, as I always do, the dear to my heart Clear Sky app. I have a bunch of locations in that app because I want to be aware as much as possible of the conditions happening around me. And I saw that this rainy Saturday was going to bring amazing conditions for here for Bodega Bay. The visibility was down to 0, which is something that you don't see very often. So even though it was 11 p.m. and I was not feeling ready or motivated, to be honest, conditions like these don't happen every day, so I had to get out, and here I am. Alright, so I'm working on this composition. I had to lower the camera because I'm trying to capture that pole stick there in the water, the bigger one. It works as an anchor point in the frame. The other poles, the other sticks in the water are a little bit smaller. They are to the side. And we have a seagull has been cooperating quite a lot, which adds a little touch to the photo. And just as I said that, the seagull decided that it was enough. I just left. Well, I'm gonna be doing a lot of long exposure photography today because, well, I'm by the water and that's something I like to do. But I'm also hoping to find other subjects that are not piers, sticks, or rocks in the water. Because when I say that this is my destination for the day, well, that's just a rough idea. I never know how the day is gonna go. I'm gonna be moving, driving around here, and I will for sure run into other subjects that I cannot even imagine right now. Like a couple I photographed earlier this morning by the side of the road. There are some cool spots by the side of the road, like this one. Pretty cool, old house. Let's do some photography by the side of the road. A very stressful form of photography, but sometimes a very necessary one. Gonna be spending a lot of time drying my gear today. For my cameras, I just use, paper towel. It's fine, even for my lenses. I try to keep them as dry as possible, I dry them when I get in the car, but I don't worry too much about it outside. I'm focused on getting the shot. That's the top priority. Now, ND filters are a little bit more annoying. You can't use paper towel or you'll probably scratch them. So I use a fiber cloth. I never use fiber cloth, only for ND filters. Otherwise, I'll just use, paper towels or my shirt, my sweater, whatever I have. Hello. All right. I hope you can hear me. It's pretty loud here. I'm pretty close to the coast. I came to the Sonoma Coast State Park. I've just been driving around because, again, I have no plans other than putting myself where conditions are amazing and see what I can find. Today is no different. This is just a beautiful location. It doesn't get much better when it comes to rock formations on the coast. It's just perfect for long exposures. I would love to go down to the beach, but I don't feel comfortable. I've had some traumatic experiences in the past. I've lost some cameras to waves and the filters, and I even hurt one of my ribs. And seeing how angry the ocean is today, a hard pass for me. I'm gonna focus on higher, more elevated and safer positions from where to photograph this beautiful coast. The ocean is mesmerizing, as long as you are watching from a safe distance, of course. For those in its path, though, it's a destructive power that never stops. It's just wild to think that these very rocks I was photographing have been shaped over millions of years by the relentless waves I was watching. Every crash of water is just a tiny step in this process of erosion that is invisible to creatures like us, only perceptible over eons. This is why I like long exposure photography. It reveals things we can't see. They capture time in a different way, one we can't access with our own senses. This is a really beautiful but pretty precarious spot here by the cliff. And yet, even them are just an insignificant speck of time compared to the scale of these landscapes. This place was here long before I showed up with my camera, and it will still be here long after my cameras and I are gone. Beautiful, just beautiful. So sadly, this lens I'm using to film this right now, this is the Tamron 17-28, has been acting up quite a bit lately. I've had this lens for almost 5 years now, and it's been through a lot. I used it in every kind of conditions. It's been rained on, snowed on. I dropped it a lot of times. Last time it was in the Penny Hills in Oregon. It was a very bad one. I thought it was broken for good, but I was able to put it all back together with just a screwdriver, and it's been working just fine since then. But lately it's doing really weird things, like it restarts the camera. It makes the camera stop filming randomly. Many times I'm not in focus. I'm not even sure if I'm in focus right now. If I'm not, that's why. So I've been thinking about replacing it with another ultra wide angle lens. Back in 2020 when I bought this one, it was pretty much the only option. There was only the Sony G Master, I believe, but that is really expensive. That is not something I'm even thinking about. There are two realistic alternatives to this one right now. One is the Sigma 16-28 and the other one is the Sony 16-25. Another option, of course, is to get another camera. They go for relatively cheap used in the used market, so that's another option since it's been such a great lens. But yeah, this is what I was thinking about right now, because I was filming myself, and when I got back to the camera, well, it wasn't rolling. That's the lens fault. I am afraid it's approaching the end of its life, because I don't want to have an unreliable lens, because I might miss a shot. I'd love to know what you think. Should I replace the lens? And if I do, which one? Another Tamron, or should I go with the Sigma or the Sony? Let me know in the comments. Whoa. Looks like I just took a shower, but no, it's just the rain, the mist. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do next, where I can go from here. The Sonoma Coast keeps going for a while, so I'm gonna drive it, of course, just in case, and maybe I'll find something. But it is looking beautifully foggy farther inland, so I'm trying to find like a small secondary road that goes through some rolling hills. This is what I'm picturing in my mind, right? Fog, rolling hills, long trees in the middle of a field, an old barn. I don't know, things like that, you know? I don't think it's too much to ask, right? Okay, I just saw a horse next to a fence. As usual, by the side of the road. It is raining too. So I got pretty wet trying to photograph that horse. I stepped in a puddle, and now my feet, my shoes are soaked. I'm pretty cold because of that. Also, I'm starving because in the rush of getting out here, I completely forgot to pack any food. So I haven't had any food today other than my breakfast. I had a big breakfast, but still I am getting pretty hungry because it's almost 3 p.m. I'm gonna have to find another way because this is full of water and closed. At least it's not raining now. That made things very difficult a few minutes ago because I struggled trying to clean the ND filters while taking a long exposure, even with the fiber cloth, especially when I'm taking long exposures with the zoom lens, because it's old, it's 4 years old. I've been using it quite a lot. Most of my photos in the last 4 years were taken with this lens, so it's pretty loose now. That means that any kind of pressure in the front can make it collapse and ruin the long exposure. So that's why I have to be very careful when I clean the filters. It is not very often that I say this, but I wish there was not so much fog. A little tiny bit of visibility would be very nice right now. It is really beautiful, but yeah, I wish we could see just a little bit more. This is probably not the right place to be right now because of the conditions. As I said, I think I should go farther inland and look for different subjects, different landscapes that can work better in the fog, because this is beautiful. I like the shot I'm taking now, but not as good as it could be if we could see the rocks. Okay, I just got directions to home. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna stop. Again, I will most definitely stop somewhere, or that's my hope. But I think it's time to start heading back. All right, I just saw a interesting subject by the side of the road, but the thing is, I couldn't pull over anywhere close to it. Oh, this is a cool stop sign, the reflection. Anyway, as I said, I think it can be a good photograph, but there was no place to pull over, not even really quick, so I had to park farther away, and now I'm walking back there. I don't know, it looked better from the car. In my imagination I picture something else, but you gotta try, you just gotta try. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything interesting on my way back home. I only took a couple of shots of a house by the river, but that was it. If you enjoyed this video, can you do me a quick favor? My wife got all mad at me because I spent that Saturday away from her. Now is when you have to say it. My wife got mad at me because I spent that Saturday away from her.
That's not true.
I'm just joking. Anyway, I would just really appreciate if you show her that it was totally worth it by giving this video a like, by subscribing if you haven't, by sharing it with other people. And if you feel like you want to go beyond that, you can join our Patreon community, where I go deeper into some topics I talk about in this channel, and I offer some behind the scenes from these trips. Now I'm gonna leave you with my favorite part of driving back home, that is crossing the Golden Gate Bridge. It's always a treat despite the toll. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, and see you in the next one.